Hello. This is another pre-recorded week ahead reading. We're going to be talking about January 19th through 26th. I have pre-selected the cards, as always, face down. And today we're going to be using two decks. The first reading is a card from the Moonology Manifestation Oracle deck. And the second reading has a card from the Moon deck. So all Oracle today. I'm going to show the backs of each of them quickly so you can get a little bit of a vibe check on which one may be most relevant for you. So this is the card for reading number 1. And reading number 2. And if you'd like to leave a comment below this video with a 1 or a 2 or both, you may do so. And then let me know which one ended up resonating more and whether your intuition was correct. So this is reading number 1. Reading 2. And then I'll show both of them together so you can have a side-by-side comp, just because I know that does help some people. All right, so we have reading number 1, reading number 2. The main word that's coming in is recollection. It seems actually that it's less memory-based and more about collecting once again. It feels more in the material space. Again, not necessarily taking inventory to see what you already have, but trying to regain physical property, something that's material, food is coming in, assets, anything that is of valuable to you, trying to, again, reclaim carries a bit of a different energy, but gather it. I just keep getting recollect over and over and over again. Okay. So is this something that we are just doing as a one-off thing? Could be maybe a couple times, depends on the person. It also could be that you're making multiple attempts to get whatever this is back. So who has it? It could be that I keep getting something about business. It could be like that a business has it. This can be small to large, corporation, but just whatever this is for you, the thing that you are owed or is yours, that somebody else has it, business-wise, potentially. And that there's certain things more on the sentimental spectrum that could be it's a friend or a loved one, some percentage of people, because I'm wondering about, well, what about like exes or people that you don't talk to anymore? Because it feels like there is a bit of an undercurrent for some people. Okay, it's actually like pretty high. It's like a good like 60% of cases where it might be that it's somebody or some entity that you don't normally communicate with. And so then there's this, okay, so I'm seeing it as if it's a weave. So certain threads are going one way, and that's like the line of the communication, the actual process of outreach. And then there's the thread and fabric that's going the other way. And that's like the tension. So it's like almost the bubbles of tension or discomfort on your end, on their end, just the idea of this whole thing, and having the expectation set that it won't necessarily feel the best, but when we weave it together, when we pull that fabric, when we pull those threads, it does smooth out. So it's about actually embracing the tension and knowing that it's part of the process and that things will be able to iron out with time and with effort, and that having the right touch is, of course, very, very important. So on that, I'm getting the nudge that we can flip our card over. We have full moon in Capricorn. Interesting, given that yesterday on the 18th, we had our new moon in Capricorn. So the complete opposite energy. So full moon in Capricorn, take a reality check. What I like about this is we've been talking about, uh, again, not recall, but like what is going on? What is it? What are the state of things? So it's almost like that is the reality check of what's happening. Having full awareness. Feels like full body awareness. So that way we can tap into what's the tension level. How am I saying things in a way that will make this process smoother so I can get what I need? Capricorn. I'm focused on, I'm trying to climb the mountain. I'm trying to get what is mine, what I deserve, or help me move up in some way. Again, there's some variability depending on what this material element is that we're talking about and who the other party is in your specific life. So there's a lot of different combinations depending on the person. It's like a main area of focus. It's the main task. It's the main thing to be thinking about. It doesn't mean that there aren't other energies or components at play. I'm seeing like they're like rolling dice and like getting ready to throw them. And so there is this feeling of a lot of variability, a lot of moving parts. And so as long as we are aware of everything, we're seeing the big picture, which sometimes Capricorn can because it's the strategic planning for the long term, but it's also wants to be narrowed and focused in some way, Saturn ruled. So we do want to see big picture, that's Jupiter, what's everything from all sides, and really understanding what the vision is, and again, the moving parts. So whatever is coming up this week, knowing that as long as we have what we need, or we remember what it is that we need, or we remember what is true, what is real, reality, then we'll be able to navigate and just like maintain our focus. That's the emphasis I keep getting. Reading number 2. I keep getting there's a current. So it's like air being funneled and moved. I keep seeing it in this almost like an L shape. There's this curve and it's being pushed through. I'm getting that it doesn't necessarily have to be air, it could be water, but it's a channel. Are we channeling? Is this intuition? I am getting a part of LOL. I was just about to say I'm getting a partial like yes in all caps, but it doesn't feel like that's going to be everybody's journey. But the hope is that it is more people's journey this week. So there's a degree of encouraging more people to connect to their intuition, actually listen to it, hear the quiet voice, the whispers. Again, it could be literal that maybe you're hearing or not. There's different psychic clairs. More details on that. I have a podcast episode from season 1 that we recorded where we were going through the main clairs, psychic clairs, and gave some real life examples. So if you want to check that out, that's like a good reference point so you can kind of know what to look out for. For the people that are not, so this is feeling like an 80-20. So the 80% of people being like, hello, encouraged. Let's pay attention to this. Let's listen to this. Let's sit down with intention. Maybe it's a meditation practice, or it's a breathwork practice, whatever it is, to just go inward, tune in, and follow the current. And then for the 20% of people who are not in this headspace, who are not aware of this, like even this type of a discussion, more earthy, but in like the detached way. So they would view all of this as more woo or not up their alley at all, even though they obviously have an intuition. That the messaging for those people, especially if you are relaying this, it's just putting building blocks in place. So it's one little cube at a time, and it's about the intention. So that's if the focus for them is let's be intentional this week. Let's do one thing at a time. Let's make this move. And then let's make the next move something that relates, something that we can build on that. And we're just pause. Okay, is this still stable? Let's add the next piece. And so we're trying to move in a more thoughtful, mindful way. And if you're someone who's on the intuition side, then that means maybe just your intuition is guiding you. So you're taking the pause and saying, all right, is this my next step or is that my next step? And then once you get your answer, then you move forward. So it's the same type of energy, but it's just depending on where you are at, which tools you're going to use. But you're making sure that you're pausing. You're pausing between each step. It's the sacred pause is crucial. And I can flip over our card. Okay, this is so interesting because we just had this recently. All right, so we have the purpose card. I have unlimited potential and claim my purpose. All I need is within me. So I love this, given that we're talking about intuition, or we're talking about, for the less woo people, the intentionality, the resources. Again, that's kind of drawing almost like the parallel but contrast to the first reading when we're talking about like what we're gathering. So if you are acting in alignment, you can find that through following your intuition. That yes or no will tell you this is in alignment. Okay, I'm going to follow that. And then for the other people who aren't channeling, they're pausing and checking, are these blocks stable? Are they in alignment? Is it going to topple over? So we do have that message going through, and I think this is a interesting backdrop because it's telling us that like this is happening for a reason. The reason that we're being presented with these choices, with these opportunities, that this information is coming in is such that we can connect to that alignment. We can continue on that path and moving forward with it. I don't know. I guess I would say like the energy of them does feel pretty different. I mentioned going over the second reading, there's a slight intersection. But for the first reading, it's like, okay, we're trying to make sure we're understanding the big picture. We're understanding our reality, understanding what is true, what is here, what is now, and receiving what we're supposed to receive. And then the second reading is a little bit more outward. It's about how we're acting, and we're acting from a place of being really grounded and really connected to ourselves. So the directionality feels different because for the first reading, we're trying to have something come in and we're trying to make sure that's a smooth process. Whereas for the second reading, it's like, okay, we know we're moving toward and out and we're moving things along, but we're not rushing. We're very present. We're connected to purpose, and it's aligned with us. So if you were someone, I think there's an opening, a huge opening here, that you could be someone who does some sort of combination of the two of them. So maybe the thing that you are trying to receive, so I'll just say it's like a payment, it's like a debt, or you sold a house with a partner who's a former partner. And so you're waiting for your portion of the money to come in, and there's a issue with the bank or something. And so you're having to do your outreach so that you can make sure that you can receive the thing that you are owed. And maybe you're having to talk to the ex, and so that's the tension coming in, or the being super direct, and maybe that's not totally your style, with the bank people and having to send some emails or make some calls. And so that's a bit of what's happening here. And as far as like, okay, well, when should I be reaching out? Who should I reach out to first? That all can be through the intentional pauses, through trusting your intuition, taking one step at a time. We're not just like running around. We're supporting the Capricorn energy of wanting a system, and the system that's applied is the intentionality and is trusting the intuition and making sure that each step that you take to go up the mountain is in alignment. Very, very smooth connection point between the two of them. Other things, the obvious, I have to point out to compare these readings, we both have a full moon. So full moon Capricorn, this lady's holding the full moon. So visual wise, they're speaking to the fact that in this case, it's we have what we need. So this is the culmination. And this is like, okay, we're getting what we need, but let's make sure that we remember what we have to help us, the present, our skills, perspective. So two different angles at the same like culmination energy. And again, pretty fascinating to have a full moon energy kicking off the day after we experience a new moon in this same sign, the Capricorn sign, cardinal Earth. So yeah, very, very interesting storyline here. Um, as far as like general energy for the week reminders here, it's like there's other things going on for reading number one. So you have your task, the thing that you're trying to get back to receive, but you're working with your understanding of reality and then keeping your perspective in check as you navigate the other things that pop up throughout this week. For the second reading, there was less of an emphasis on the other state of everything that was going on. It's just like, okay, we're just pausing. So that could mean that maybe you were living in the same climate. These people we're all living in the same world, whether you slot into reading one or reading two. And so if you're someone who is more or exclusively in reading number two, then it means that whatever is popping up, you are taking the sacred pause. You're being intentional about what your response is, not reaction, response. And that you can ask for guidance through your intuition. And if you don't want to call it that because that's not your style, then again, it's you're taking a beat. It's that sacred pause. You're going inward, you're trusting your gut intuition, but you're trusting your gut and making sure that each step is thoughtful and is allowing you to grow in some way that supports you in the long term. All right, nothing too crazy with these readings this week. I think we have a pretty clear roadmap despite whatever actually comes up this week. That's kind of how it feels. It's like these readings are meant to be simple, so it's something that you can hold on to regardless of what comes up. So I have a bunch of astrology videos that have been dropping all month long because January be crazy, and also that will continue to release throughout this week and through the end of the month. So definitely check those out. I completed both of my astrology transit classes for the month, so all of the content is either out or is scheduled from those, but I will be updating my calendar soon, maybe later this week, with my February classes. So then I'll have those transit classes available to sign up for. But in the meantime, if you would like to sign up for my psychic development workshop, that's on Wednesday, the 21st, 11 a.m., typically 90-minute workshop. So if you would like to ask me questions about intuition, about my experiences, about your experiences of people that you know, just playing telephone there. And also, I facilitate some different activities so that you can practice, experiment with your intuition, developing some of those clairs, and really it's just a great opportunity to show up, be open, and honestly, actually kind of great. Um, Realizing this now as I'm saying this, kind of great for reading number two. If you're someone who wants to channel, to connect to your intuition more, what impeccable timing for me to have this workshop that I scheduled a month ago. So, or even more than that, I think I scheduled my January classes early. So, yeah, if you really identify with this and you're available during that time, please consider attending. And otherwise, if you would like to develop your skill set one-on-one, I offer 2-hour consult calls. So it's just a little container. You can practice reading me. You can ask me questions. I can read for you. We can do kind of a two-way situation, getting recommendations, suggested practices, having you experiment, little homework assignments, things you can test out. And if you would like to have that be more of an extended container, I have a 4-month mentorship if you would like to sign up for that, where we would meet monthly and help to develop whatever it is that you would like to learn and whatever it is that your guides want you to learn also as well. So please let me know if you have any questions about any of those services, head over to my website. If you're somebody that's local, I am going to be doing an in-person astrology workshop in February. So if you're on my newsletter, you've already seen that. I recently, within the last couple weeks, put up on my social media. It's on my website. So if you are local to Marlborough, Mass, and you would like to attend that workshop, then you can get those details on my website, sign up, get your ticket, and I hope to see some of you there.